Hello and welcome to the Nerdy Wordy. We are your hosts. I am Robert,
I'm Billy.
and today we're talking Hawkeye. We're going to be finishing up the last half of the season of Hawkeye, 4 through 6. We're getting into this.
Oh yeah, we're a little bit behind schedule, but
There is no schedule, let's be honest.
we're a little okay.
We do this
We're
whenever
making
we
the schedule.
choose.
Everyone else was early. We're here when we're supposed to.
Yeah, we come at the right time. Don't worry.
Exactly. Like us when we're trying to start this podcast.
So,
No one else is gonna understand that joke.
yeah. So let's get started with episode 4. Billy, anything from episode 4 that you kind of want to highlight, want to ask about? I mean, there's probably nothing to really ask about because some things have been answered, but anything that you found interesting about the episode?
I should have asked you this. Which one was episode 4? I'm trying to determine what ended episode 3 and what began episode 4. Was that the one when Hawkeye went into their apartment
Mm-hmm.
and
And
then it
he
ended on
met,
a cliffhanger?
yeah, he met up with Eleanor and Jack, and they had that big discussion, and then he took the
Okay.
sword. Then he was like, "I'm gonna finish what I started with, like getting rid of the persona of Ronin." So he
Yeah.
meets with Kazi, and he's like, "I need you to have like her stop pursuing Ronin because it's gonna get her hurt and stuff."
Yeah.
And basically Kate's trying to be his partner, try and be the superhero type.
Mhm.
And then towards the end we get into the scene where they enter into the apartment where they think that I think it's Kazi. They think it's like in there, but it
Yeah.
turns out that it's what's her face? Shoot.
Maya?
Huh?
Maya? Right?
Yeah. Maya is actually it's her apartment, and then they have
Mhm.
the huge rooftop fight. But then the surprise, who no one's surprised by, is that Yolanda's there.
No one was surprised by this?
I mean, it's a direct connection from Black Widow, the end credit scene of Black Widow, to here. She had to come.
Yeah, but I mean, like, you didn't know it was gonna be her there. Did you?
Well,
If you
I
did,
did.
I'm very impressed.
So I had said that I did not think that they would put her in the middle,
Mhm.
but I was wrong. They put it right in the middle,
Right in
which
the
is
middle.
fine. It worked fine, but I
Mhm.
just felt like I thought that like this whole story of Hawkeye trying to get rid of the Ronin persona was going to complete itself, and then like at the other half of like the last episode, she'd come in and they'd have a fight and everything. But I
Mhm.
guess this worked as well, so I have no complaints, and I love Yelena, so it's okay.
She's hilarious.
Hmm.
They even like say it in it. They're like, oh, what would she say? Stop making me like you or
Not
something
making me
like
like
that.
you so much. It's like, sorry, I can't help it.
Yeah, that was funny. Um, but so you asked me if there's anything I would note in this episode.
Mhm.
There's only one thing that I will say on top of what you said. So I think everything you said was perfect. It
Mhm.
summed it up very nicely. The the end of episode 3 was when Hawkeye gets confronted. I can't think of his name by her mom's boyfriend with like the
Jack.
sword, right?
Yep.
Yeah, thank you. And that's how it ends, like a big cliffhanger. Like
Hmm.
something's gonna like they're gonna throw down, and
Hmm.
then it starts, and it's basically, oh, you're Hawkeye. Oh, and
Yeah.
puts it away.
Huh. Oh, I didn't see your face.
Yeah, so I think that's funny. It
And
was
then he
like,
becomes a fanboy. It's like, oh my God, you're an Avenger.
yeah.
He's
So
a
that
very much
ended real quick.
wannabe Avenger. Oh, I just had to tell you that.
What was that? Oh
He's a
yeah,
very wannabe Avenger.
yeah. You can kind of tell by the ending in the last episode.
Mhm.
But I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah.
I was like expecting this huge, like really cool sword fight, and then it ends in 2 seconds.
Hmm.
So
And the thing that I will note from this episode is like, remember how Kate and Hawkeye, they were both like talking about a bunch of stuff while they were like making the Christmas tree and like, watching
Uh,
movies and stuff.
yeah.
And one of the things that like she asked about what's the best shot you ever made, and Hawkeye's like the one that I never took with Black Widow and actually helping her, get out of the Red Room. And that's reflected in this episode where like Kate like was going to shoot the arrow at Elena and she didn't. So
Mhm.
it was probably the best shot that she never took was the one, you know, it's probably her
Yeah.
best shot.
Very poetic in a way.
Hmm.
Like them two would be the new Black Widow Hawkeye type of team up group, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
I didn't catch that. I like that. Very poetic.
Hmm.
Is this the
So
episode where he taught her how to do the flicking thingy too?
yeah. So
I
like
thought that was cool. I
yeah.
was like, I know at school tomorrow teachers are gonna be like hating that they brought it up because all I could picture is people in school and like in high school just going in
Just doing
class.
it, flicking it
Yeah.
everywhere.
Now, be honest. Did you try this after the episode?
No, I'm not
Okay, I didn't
skilled
either.
enough to do that.
I didn't either. I wanted to, but I should have because I feel like I could have broken something and it would have been funny to talk about. Now I'm just
Mhm.
talking about how it would have been funny. But I'll try it and I'll let you know next week how it goes.
Mhm.
I'll tell you if I can turn on the TV with it.
For the Blake.
Yeah. Okay. Episode 5.
Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
where at the end of episode 4, since this has
Big
gotten so
reveal.
yeah, the big reveal, everything got so serious that Clint's like, you're out, you're not going to be doing this anymore because now Black Widow Assassin is here and it got very serious. So you're gone. You're not my partner. You're not anything. Just go home, basically.
Hmm.
Um, and that's
Yeah.
where we lead into this episode where Kate basically goes home, but then has that very nice conversation with Elena. I loved this interaction between the two of them. Um,
Hmm.
it's just
With the
perfect.
mac and cheese and
Mm,
yeah, it was. I agree. If this was to happen, if this was like real life scenario,
mm,
I think this is definitely how it would happen.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
And I like how nonchalant Elena is. Like, it's like, oh, I'm not here to talk to him. I'm here to kill him.
Yeah. Very upfront.
Hmm.
You know exactly where you stand with her.
Yeah. I do also like the interaction where she's like, I don't have any weapons on me. Okay, I lied. I don't have any weapons in my hands. Okay, that was another lie. I do have weapons in my hands.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
And then Kate is just like sitting as straight as humanly possible, not moving an inch.
She's very weirded out that like this person who almost tried to kill her is in her apartment.
Being very casual.
Hmm.
Hmm.
But then like, Elena's like, why does everybody like defend him, calling him an Avenger? There's so much blood that's on his hands. Like, why do you idolize him so much? And Kate like tries to defend Clint and everything else. So
Hmm.
it's a very interesting dynamic and it kind of gets, into the last episode as well. But
Yeah. They both make good points,
hmm,
I would say, in the argument. Right?
yeah. And then Clint decides to try and figure out, uh, how Jack is involved as being the CEO of this shell corporation. So he calls his wife and like asks her to like, have this person kind of take care of, figuring out who this shell corporation is and whatever.
Yeah.
And then like he's gonna like try and take charge. So he meets up with Kazi and it's like, no, he doesn't meet up with Kazi, he actually like shoots the arrow through the windshield and like
Yeah.
delivers the note saying like have Maya meet me at the auto place.
When that happened and they just screamed, it's kind of funny. To be fair, I would scream. Like, yeah, I would
Arrow just
scream.
came through
I'd
your
pitch at the
windshield.
top of my lungs. Yeah. um. Yeah, that big showdown was
Hmm.
very dramatic.
Yeah, it's very Batman-esque where he just like picked
Yeah,
off people one at a time. And it's
you're
funny
right.
too because like she can't hear, So since she
Mhm.
can't hear, she can't react in the way that most like heroes would or villains or anything, where they could
Mhm.
just like go like turn in the direction of what's happening. She's just like staring around and everybody's just getting picked off one at a time.
Mhm. Do you
And
think
then
it'd
it
be
was still pretty
more
good.
frightening or less frightening like that?
Oh, it's definitely more frightening because like you don't know like what's happening in your
Mhm.
surroundings.
The ignorance is worse than knowing that people are getting picked off left and right, and is it like hearing when it goes off
Yeah,
or when it happens?
yeah.
I would agree with that.
Because you don't understand the looming danger that might be coming to you.
Yeah, but she can handle herself. We learned that.
Yeah, pretty well. But she does
Yeah.
like eventually like get kind of defeated, but like then Clint reveals himself to be Ronan, and he
Mhm.
explains to her that her boss was the one who ordered the hit on her dad,
Mhm.
and he was not he's not solely responsible. There's someone to blame that's higher up who made that
Mhm.
decision. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. There, there's more players in that game than just him.
Mhm. And then like Maya goes off, meets up with Kazi, and like she's like, why weren't you there that night when my father was killed? He's like, oh, I don't know, like pleading the ignorance and stuff. And she's
Mhm.
like, okay. And it kind of shows that she turns
Yeah.
on them a little bit. So
You can tell she's a little skeptical of
yeah, she's like,
all of
that
that.
kind of makes sense a little bit why Kazi wasn't there. If he's like the second in command, why was he not there? But my father
Yeah.
was.
Mhm.
And then
Uh,
like Clinton, Kate meet up again, and
mhm.
because they kind of do need each other in a way, you know,
Yeah,
because
I agree.
Jack gets arrested for being part of the Shell Corporation, and he's like, "I've
Mhm.
been framed. Don't worry about it." It's like I really don't care for the character of Jack, to be honest, because he's not. It's not just ignorance in the fact like the way that we just described earlier with like Maya not knowing. He's like blatantly ignorant. He's like a goof. I don't like it.
I feel bad for his character. He doesn't seem like a bad person
Mm,
because he keeps getting set up.
yeah.
But yeah, it was very awkward in some situations. Like when he was
Mm,
fighting with the kid or
yeah.
arguing with the kid, I should say.
Yeah.
That was funny. I felt so bad for the kid. I was like, yeah, are you? What is happening right now?
Arguing with a child, sir.
Yeah. So I can't even think of what he said, but I remember his comeback was like brutal, and I'm
Hmm.
like, wow. Oh, it's like, remember when you wet yourself? I do.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, poor kid.
Mm. So they meet up there at the apartment of Grills, and they're going to plan to figure out how to like the big showdown, basically. And then like we find out that Yelena is following Eleanor.
Hmm.
And it turns out that Eleanor was the one that hired Yelena to kill Clint, and her
Yeah,
employer is dun 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 Kingpin from the
yeah.
Daredevil series.
Same actor, right? You told me that.
Same actor, yep.
That surprised me.
Hmm.
All this like interconnectedness is weird because it's just weird. It's
Hmm.
cool, but it's so much.
Yeah.
It's a little overwhelming in a good
Hmm.
way. But I did not see the mom hiring Clint
Hmm.
hiring Clint, hiring Elena
Yeah.
to get Clint because we saw that Elena was confronted by
Contessa, yeah.
yeah, thank you. So is she getting paid twice for the same job? I
So
don't know.
my belief is that Contessa is kind of like a broker, kind of like a middle person,
Mhm.
and she has all these shady deals with all these different people in the underworld, basically. And
Mhm.
since I would say like like Eleanor and Kingpin have this like relationship where they have this like underworld power, you know. because Eleanor has debt to pay off with Kingpin because of her husband's deals or whatever he's done to get all this money.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Hey, this guy Clint Barton, he's like getting in the way. We need to like get rid of him." And then like Kingpin's like, "Oh, I know a person," and then calls up Contessa and is like, "Hey, I need someone to kill off Clint Barton, uh,
Mhm.
and not be associated with what we're doing." So then Contessa's like, "I got you. I know the perfect person," and make Elena, who just got blipped back in this episode. We find out that she was like in the 5 years had been blipped and then came back.
Mhm.
She doesn't know what happened to her sister in this time,
Mhm.
and for her, it's like, oh yeah, this person definitely killed my sister, no matter what he says, and like she's now on this
Mhm.
mission because she's the assassin type. So I think that's how it kind of went down, and it kind of confused me too because it's like, wait, Contessa was the one who we saw in Black Widow, but I think it's like she's like a middle person who kind of like instigates anything that needs to happen in the
Mhm.
criminal underworld, you know?
It makes sense. So you think that the post-credit scene where, like, the one that we see where like, Yelena gets um, hired, I guess, or
Mm,
told to go on this job, happens within this Hawkeye series?
yeah, it happens
Okay.
probably within a few weeks, I would say.
Well, so because if the mom hired Hawkeye, or if mom was the one who ultimately sets trickles down and ends up hiring Yelena,
Hmm.
then that means it must have been after she found out that Hawkeye and her were working together,
Maybe.
which wasn't that big, I feel like, of a time.
Hmm.
You know
Oh,
what I mean?
maybe it was the phone call. Maybe it was the phone call that she made to that mysterious person. Remember
Ah,
that? She was like, "Hey, it's me. I have a situation here." And maybe that's when like the conversation went down, and then like the events of like
that's
the end credit scene happened, and then now it's like because it kind of makes sense because it's within an episode, so it's in
yeah,
within
it's
like
not
a
that much
day
time.
span.
Mhm. And I think if I remember correctly, at the in the post credit scene, they are wearing winter attire, and it is
You
winter.
also don't know where they
Like
are. That's the other
that's
thing.
true.
You don't know what
So it
cemetery
doesn't. I
they're
guess it
in.
doesn't really matter, huh? Then
Yeah,
I'm gonna guess they're somewhere in the United States.
yeah. Mr. Grinch is in town. He's gonna ruin Christmas for everybody.
Yes, he is.
And that's where we get into episode 6. Probably the best episode of the series, in my opinion.
I agree.
It wrapped everything up in a way that worked really well, you know.
I agree. It was a very satisfying
Mhm.
conclusion to all the events, I
Yeah.
think.
So basically, we have this huge holiday party where everybody's going to be confronted with everything, basically. Like Hawkeye and Kate Bishop are going in there to kind of scope things out, make sure things are going to be fine, you know, kind of confront, you know, Eleanor about her shadiness, you know. Jack's there out of prison. Somehow, some way he got bail to get out of jail. And he's
I don't
carrying
know.
around a sword very nonchalantly, which is
Yeah.
it's good for
Is
story. It doesn't make sense for uh like why.
well, they said in it that they think it's his way of showing he didn't do it in some strange way.
Yeah, but I again, it's like the ignorance thing. Like, dude, don't bring a sword to a holiday party. I don't
Yeah,
care
which
how
is
good you are, how collected you are with swords. Like, I'm not gonna bring my most valuable collectibles to me to a holiday party.
no,
Sorry.
I agree. Not the best idea, but I feel like it makes sense for the character to have done it
Yeah. And it works well with the story if he's gonna like fight off, you know, the tracksuit mafia at the end.
a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. What were the highlights for you for this episode? Because I feel like this is the most recent episode. You can remember more stuff from this, and there's a lot
I,
more
I
that
remember the
gets
episode.
talked about.
I thought it was funny. Some of the parts that I thought were funny were when Kate and Elena were going at each other, like the
Hmm.
elevator and all that fun stuff.
Hmm.
And then I also thought it was hilarious Hawkeye getting trapped in the tree and then him not moving. I feel like why didn't he climb? he wasn't like attached or anything. I thought it was weird that he just sat there.
Yeah.
Right? Was that just me? I feel like
Yeah, that was
someone.
weird. It's like, why aren't you like shimmying down? Like, you're a very
Yeah,
athletic person and you know how to get out of situations, yet you can't climb down a tree.
yeah. Like I get it. Like being in there for like 10, like maybe a minute to like recuperate, see what's around and stuff. But he's
Mhm.
supposed to like heights. He's Hawkeye.
Right. He likes to
He jumps off
perch.
a building and swings through a window. I mean, he can't
Yeah.
climb down a Christmas tree. I was very confused by that.
Yeah. I mean, I guess like he's already battered and beat already from the last few days, so it's kind of like it hurts a lot for him to do it.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't care how hurt he was, the way he ended up coming down was probably more painful than trying
Yeah.
to climb down.
Hmm.
I also felt bad for the owl.
Oh, we're gonna get into the owl.
Because there's a deleted scene, right? There's supposed to be a scene with the owl, like a whole thing with the owl, right?
What do you mean?
I thought I saw, I didn't end up reading it because I thought you bring it up. That the owl was supposed to play a bigger role in it, but then they took out scenes.
Maybe they were going to show the Tracksuit Mafia's death with the owl. I don't know. Because that would be the only thing that would make sense to me. Because the owl came down and took the miniaturized Tracksuit Mafia truck,
Poor guys. Yeah.
which people are like very like. This is the most graphic like uh death that we'll probably see in the MCU. Like this owl who like will swallow their prey whole alive.
I,
It's a very
I hope they
gruesome.
get out of it somehow. Oh, I felt so bad.
Mhm.
Like it
I
was.
did. I thought it was hilarious.
I saw it and I'm like,
Why? What happened? I mean, have you seen? I mean, seeing the other deaths, like one guy got his leg frozen off, like others were like on
they were
fire.
aggressive.
They were aggressive, so I feel like an owl, like killing them, yeah.
I don't know. I agree with like the Hawkeye characters, the Black Widow characters,
Mm,
basically all the ones that don't have superpowers in a way
yeah. Hmm.
are all very aggressive
Well, they
just by
have
their
to be because
nature.
they kind of have to like be better, more forceful than the other guys.
Just by their nature, yeah, I agree. Like
Hmm.
he shoots a bow and arrow. I
Yeah.
mean, not a lot of ways that can go.
Hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
Uh,
What did you think
Also,
of
the big
Kingpin
fight
in
scene.
this?
I was just gonna say the big fight scene between him and Kate
Yeah.
was interesting.
Yeah. I mean, let's just be real. He wasn't like fighting her. He was kind of like
No,
acting like she was like a fly, like, get off me. If I'm
yeah,
gonna
I
fight you,
agree
I'm gonna kill
100%.
you. Because he could kill her because like he's powerful. Like he got an arrow straight to the chest. He got hit by a car. Like
Yeah,
he literally got just knocked out by like an explosion. He's a very powerful being person.
I agree. Is he coming back? Do you think he's coming back?
So the scene that you're talking about is where Maya confronts him basically, and she basically shoots him, right?
Mhm.
But we don't see the shot. You
We
don't see
don't.
him get killed. And you would
Yeah,
usually see someone get killed, right? I don't care how Disney-fied you're gonna talk about it. Like people literally owls are gonna consume people and people are getting legs frozen off. I think it's not out of the realm of possibility that you'd see like some way like him fall down and die.
or something. Yeah,
Yeah,
like a newspaper article.
right.
Something.
But he is probably going to come back. I'm going to be like 99% sure he's going to come back. You can't just kill off a huge character like Kingpin and not expect people to be upset about it.
In one episode.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I thought that
the
was
way
funny.
that I think is going to happen is the way they actually did in the comics, where Maya confronts Kingpin about her father's death. In that comic, she does the exact same thing where she takes the gun to his head, but instead of shooting him, she blinds him in both eyes. So
Interesting. That'd also be very aggressive.
very aggressive, yeah. But here's the thing: we only heard one shot
We
in
did.
the episode, so he might be just like blinded in one eye. So he could be like a Nick Fury type, where he has like an eye patch. because in the comics he was shot in both eyes, so he was basically blind. But he got reconstructive surgery to get new eyes, so he ended up getting his eyes back anyway.
Interesting. So this would be like a middle ground
Yeah,
between. Interesting.
like
I don't
eye
know.
for an eye.
Yeah. Interesting. I don't know. That's a weird one.
Mhm.
I like that theory though.
Yeah, I mean, you can't kill him off, so why not just blind him? Because you had
A
to
little.
get the shot somewhere.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. It makes sense.
Mhm.
Cinematically. Maybe cinematically is not the right word.
Cinematically, yeah.
Okay. It makes sense that in that respect.
Mhm.
I don't know. We'll have to wait and find out, I guess.
Yeah.
Next, is Daredevil the TV show done?
Yes, but I don't know if they're going to reboot it or anything. We'll have to see. We'll have to
I
wait
was
and
gonna,
see what Marvel is planning on.
yeah, I was gonna say maybe we'll find out in the next Daredevil episode.
What did
Imagine
you
though,
think?
imagine if they had like Daredevil TV show and then all of a sudden he comes and he has an eye patch. No one knows why. You
Why
know,
is he have an eye patch? Oh, no reason.
last to quote Nick Fury, the last time I trusted someone, I lost an eye.
True.
This time it wasn't a cat, or
Yeah,
technically it wasn't a cat. It was a, what was it called? I know you know the name of that alien.
the Flurkin.
Thank you. Yeah, I was like, no way you don't know that. That's so up.
The Flurkin.
Yeah. Um.
So what did you think of like the whole Hawkeye versus Elena fight, and eventually him like confronting her about what happened with uh Natasha?
mhm. It reminded me a little bit of at the end of Captain America 2 when Captain America like drops his shield, says, "I'm not gonna fight you," to
Hmm.
Bucky. Kind of reminds me of that because he at
Hmm.
some point he kind of stops fighting.
Hmm.
He kind of just lets. He's just kind of trying to talk to her, saying
Hmm.
like he didn't do anything. Here's what really happened. She sacrificed herself. She's a hero,
Hmm.
and it took a long time for her to listen.
Yeah, and it wasn't
But
until he did the personal whistle that they both shared
yeah,
that made her go like, "Oh my God," because like why would she give him the knowledge of the whistle that her and her sister share, if not that she trusted him so much? Why would he kill her off in that way? Why was he trying to convince so hard in that way? It's kind of like
yeah,
that was the way that kind of showed, hey, I didn't do anything wrong, and this is how I kind of show it, and this is how you should like earn the trust.
yeah. I agree. I thought that was a nice way to do it. I didn't see it coming,
Mm-mm.
but it was a nice way to do it.
Yeah.
It also you just reminded me really quick of the scene at the beginning when Hawkeye goes to the memorial. Is that
Hmm.
in that episode or
It's episode 4, I think.
is that episode 4? Oh,
Yeah.
I missed it.
Goes
Way
to the
back.
memorial and talks to Natasha about like, I know what I need to do. I gotta finish this myself.
Mm-hmm. That
We're,
was
we're
so
here
good.
to like do this and not like have sacrificed yourself for a stupid stone.
Mm-hmm. That was so sad.
Hmm.
Um, very emotional scene, and
Hmm.
and I would have felt bad if I didn't bring it up because I thought that was very, very nice scene.
Hmm. But I definitely also liked the fight between Yelena and Kate, just like that whole pan of like going through the office space basically. Then they're in like, well, they were in the elevator,
Yeah,
and like she tries to like go for the button and she's like, no.
yeah.
And then she tries again, she's like, no. It reminded
Mm.
me of like in Ant-Man and the Wasp when Scott was trying to get like one of the Altoids, and then Hank is like, no,
No,
no. You can't get out. Like,
I agree. The dynamic between the two is so funny. Kate did a
yeah.
good job.
Hmm. And
I
then
mean,
they had like a little tussle in there, and then she like touched all the buttons.
yeah, that's so funny. And then Yelena's just like, okay, no, and jumps out the window,
Yep.
like so casually, nonchalantly.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's funny.
So we also get the resolution that Eleanor was actually the one who framed Jack and actually is involved with Kingpin. She gets to go to jail. But I know that a lot of these like story arcs that happened in this episode were kind of reshot. So like there was an original ending where Eleanor was actually going to be Madame Mask, who's a villain in Marvel Comics based on Kate Bishop's mother. But that didn't turn out to be anything because I guess they just wanted to end it in this way and maybe work it into another story arc. I don't know. She is supposed to be Madame Mask, this character, but
Maybe
they
they
just
didn't want to
decided not
commit
to
to
do
it.
it. Yeah.
Leaves the door open.
Mhm.
I can see that. I had no idea who that character was, but I think that'd
Yeah.
be interesting.
Mhm.
What do you think about it? Do you think they'll do it?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like if it's like an open shut case like this, like I feel like they kind of were like, do we really want to extend this out further? Probably not. So they're gonna like just leave it as like we could bring her back anytime, and that's why she's going to jail. She didn't like run away, like she could maybe escape or something.
Something, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't like the guilt trips as well.
Yeah.
What'd you think about that? Or did you just
I just brushed it off because
Mhm.
you get what you deserve at the end. Like, you being shady with Kingpin, like, you could have left at any time, even though probably you wouldn't have lived long enough. But I feel like, you know,
you have to at
Kate's
least
being
end
the
it?
morally good person here, and you're still a bad person. I mean, you basically told your fiance, like, oh, he's the one who actually was part of the Shell Corporation. You let him take the fall for it, even though he had no idea what was happening.
Yeah. Do you think from the beginning that she was setting him up? That's the only reason why he became her fiance? Or do you think it was just like she actually loved him and then at some point he had to be the fall guy?
I think it's the second one. I think that she actually
Second one?
didn't care about him, but like she
Cared
had
about Kate more.
there was going to be some sort of connection towards her. So she was kind of like, okay, I can kind of like go around this by blaming it on Jack. And it's going to be okay because they're not going to find any evidence on Jack. So it's going to be okay, you know. But
Mhm.
then Kate found out, and then, Elena did her digging with, Kingpin and her associating with each other. So it didn't work out for
Yeah.
her.
No, it did not.
Mhm.
What'd you think about the ending with Hawkeye coming back, getting there on Christmas, it seems like,
Mhm.
with Kate?
It's exactly how I thought it should have been,
I
in my
agree.
opinion. I mean, I told you. I mean, like at the end, they had to go to Christmas. They had to be there for Christmas, and
Mhm.
they were, and that's that was perfect. Getting rid of the Ronin suits. That persona is now dead. He's still
Mhm.
Hawkeye, but I think he's going to now train her to become the
I
new
hope so.
Hawkeye because he's retired. He wants to be retired. He wants to be with his family. He doesn't
At some
want
point.
this kind of danger around them. So I think he's going to train her to be the new Hawkeye, and that's what they were kind of discussing towards the end of the episode.
With the names. What's her name in the comic books?
Who?
Kate Bishop. Does she have a superhero name?
I think it's just Hawkeye. I think
Is it
she's just like a new Hawkeye, like the Young Avengers version of Hawkeye.
like how Falcon is Captain America?
Hmm.
Same title.
Yeah, just transitions to another person.
Interesting. Makes sense. I
Wait,
think that
so
I'm glad that Hawkeye made it through the series. I heard theories at the beginning that, like before the whole thing started,
mhm,
that he wasn't going to make it to the end,
mhm,
and I'm very happy that they were wrong.
yeah.
I'm sure they were happy too.
What did you think about Clint's wife getting the watch and having that number? I think it was 13.
On the back
Yeah,
with the shield
it
watch.
was the Shield logo. Yeah. What did you think of that? What do you think before I throw my knowledge out to you? What do you think about that?
It seems like she worked for Shield at some point,
Mhm,
which makes sense
mhm,
because her connection to Hawkeye and everything that that Hawkeye asked her to do, she didn't seem. Well, I mean, she's been married to Hawkeye, so.
Mhm.
But she seems very capable.
Yeah, I mean, like
So was
she
she?
she knows how to speak German, and she has connections to certain people.
Yeah. Was she an agent? But
Mhm.
Agent 13 is Sharon Carter, isn't it?
So maybe it's 17. I forget what the number was. It was 17, 19. I forget.
Some odd number. Some
let,
odd
let me
teen.
let me look at it to make sure. I'm gonna make sure. I don't want to screw this up and be like in post like, oh, you stupid. Yeah.
But either way, the number's not important. So what's the knowledge you're gonna bestow upon me?
So the knowledge is that this agent designation, 17, 19, whatever,
Mhm.
is the code name for Mockingbird in the comics, who is their own character, their own superhero in their own rights.
Okay.
So she is basically was Mockingbird at one point.
Tell me about this Mockingbird. Wait,
So
Mockingbird
like
and Hawkeye are married? That's funny.
so like in the comics, Bobby Morse is actually the name of the person who becomes Mockingbird. Mockingbird's not really a big influential character. She's like an Avenger superhero. So it's interesting that she is connected to Clint in this series. That she is the designated Mockingbird. Whether she was a superhero in the MCU or not, I'm not sure.
Mhm.
She just has the code designation of Mockingbird because of the watch and her agent number. Um,
Did she have powers, or is she like a Black Widow
she's like
and
a
like
Black
super strength?
Widow, Hawkeye kind of type.
Interesting. That's kind of cool.
Yeah,
I didn't see that coming.
came out of left field.
Yeah, right? I wonder if they're gonna do something with that, or if that was just a
Or if
nice
that's just like a little tease.
little teaser in there.
Yeah. I feel like it's a little tease because I feel like going back again, unless they're going to use her in something, being agent like 19, I don't know.
Whatever it was, yeah. I don't know. I think it wouldn't make sense, especially because Hawkeye's trying to retire, right?
Hmm.
Like, I think it would make sense for him to finally settle down, and then she now goes out and does her own thing. I think Hawkeye wouldn't let her go out by herself, you know?
Hmm.
I don't know. Either way, nice little thingy in there.
Yeah.
But the most important scene
Hmm. Hmm.
and the most important part, what did you think about the musical at the end? Enough said.
It, okay. I know this is going to be a very strong take,
Mhm.
but it's the one
That's why I asked you.
uh, it is probably the worst end credit scene I have ever seen in my entire life because it did absolutely nothing.
Nothing. Yeah. It
Like I
reminded me of the
get it, these
patience
little
scene.
extras did their performance for the first episode and whatever, but you didn't show anybody in the audience. You didn't have a tease to maybe Elena was watching it or whatever. That it was
Nothing.
just the performance. And I watched through the entire thing and I was like, I skipped ahead a little bit to like on the thing. I'm like, is anything gonna happen? Nothing happened. And I'm deeply disappointed because No Way Home just happened a week before, and you had an amazing movie with amazing mid and end credit scenes, and then you
Mhm.
bring this pile of turd on me.
Regression to
You
the
had,
mean, I guess.
like literally, like WandaVision had a good post credit scene. The
Mhm.
Falcon and Winter Soldier had a good post credit scene. Even Loki, who just said that it was this season 2, had a good post credit scene.
Mhm.
And then Hawkeye gets this. You can't give anything more. You can't give more for me. You have to show this stupid musical. Like
Yeah.
Kevin Feige, what was your thought process there? Like, Because wasn't it at the end they were like "Merry Christmas from Marvel Studios," and it's like, okay, but then you give me this coal, basically this coal. What did I do to deserve this? I was so loyal throughout this entire year.
I will say that the music was kind of catchy. It was weird.
No, I'm not going to say it's
I
catchy.
thought it was catchy,
I
but
did not. It's not like what's catchy is the stuff from like WandaVision. That music was catchy.
that stuff is catchy too. I'll give you
This music was crap.
that.
Just the emotional feelings of it is just dirt crap. No.
Yeah. So when it ended, in my head, all I could think of was at the end of not No Way Home, at the end of Homecoming, with the Captain America scene, and he's talking about patience, how
Mhm.
not much can come from it. Sometimes you wonder why you waited this
Waited
long.
this long for
Yeah,
something so disappointing. And I go, I
yeah.
felt that in this
And
one.
so that was me. That was me. I was like, I just practiced a little patience there.
Well, my patience right there. I mean, like,
It was funny. To be honest, I thought it was hilarious because just like watching it, it was so awkward and
well,
so weird that I was just like, I could not be laughing through it.
you like Captain America, so obviously, like, you'd probably be the one to pay a ticket to see Rogers the musical. Let's just be honest.
No, I wouldn't pay this.
You like this musical bit at the end, so it's like you can't be
I,
one and not the other.
I thought it was funny for like the 2 minutes that it was on. I could not.
It was on for 4 minutes. It was
Was
like a
it 4 minutes?
4 minute performance.
I was
Like,
on my phone while it was on too. So
no, I was like paying attention. I was like, okay, something's gonna happen. Like, maybe something in the audience or whatever.
I
Like,
think I was, I think I was texting you. Like, is this the only credit scene?
yeah, it
uh, so funny.
everybody that I've talked to said it sucked, and you bit the
Not
dust on that
everyone.
one. I didn't care.
Yeah, I think they did leave enough open in it or in the episode. I feel like where they didn't necessarily need to tease at something else. I mean, for all we know, they don't have anything ready to tease.
You could have done
You know,
Kingpin. How about that? Tell us what happened to Kingpin.
I think they wanted to leave it a mystery, though.
Yeah,
Maybe they
but
didn't want
a
to
lot of that
commit to
stuff
something.
before in episodes and shows and movies where they're like, "Oh, this like mysterious thing happened, but here's what happens in the end." Like, you could have
Maybe
done
they
that.
didn't want to commit to him
Well,
being one
you
or
have
the other.
a series. You have an Echo series coming out. Why not have something to kind of ties with the Echo
Oh, that's a
series?
good point.
Like, hello,
I
think about this stuff.
don't know.
You, Kevin Feige must have felt so great about this performance of all these like characters in this musical that he's like,
Mhm.
you know what everybody loves so much for this performance to be on as an end credit scene for 4 minutes. He
Give
must have
people a
thought this was an
taste.
amazing thought, and it happened.
I do
And
wonder. I do wonder what the thought process was behind it. Now that you bring it up,
yeah, like what was
like
going on in your mind to think that the genius of No Way Home to then get something like this for a series that pretty much everybody thought was one of the best series that you had for the entire year. Like, how can you
permission
drop
to
the
the meat.
ball so much?
I don't know.
At least I know one end credit scene now that I get to skip and not have to care about. Because every single time I rewatch something like a show or a movie,
You
I will
have to.
see the end credit scenes. Now this one, nope.
You have to. Oh, I didn't tell my dad about the post credit scenes like that. There could be two. Dang it.
Yeah, there's a mid and a post. You always gotta
Yeah.
always gotta pay attention to that.
Yeah. I don't think he cares too much though. I just wanted to get him caught up on the movie.
Yeah. So anything else to add for the review before we get into the actual score of this series?
I don't think so.
Then let's get into the numbers and data. What are you gonna give this whole series as a whole?
8.5.
Mm,
Solid 8.5.
mm. I will give it
What
an
about you?
8.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not my favorite. Loki's still my favorite, but
It's tough to compete with that one. That one was just not spoiler. That one was like plot twists up.
it's set up
Upfront.
so much for the future of the MCU as we know it. So
Yeah,
I think that's why that's up there.
I
WandaVision
agree.
is also up there, except the last episode just really killed it. Falcon and the Winter Soldier, it's okay. In
I
retrospect, it's
still
like it's
like those.
okay. And
Yeah.
then the What If series is also okay, it's fine.
The What If series was lowest, I think, on my list.
Hmm. This one is probably like the Hawkeye series is probably like the higher up, like maybe number 2 for me.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Not Loki, but number 2.
Is it going to be on your designated Christmas watch list every year now? It's
Probably with
Christmas.
like Iron Man 3 and like Batman Returns and now this. Yeah.
Okay, not bad.
Until we get the holiday special for Guardians of the Galaxy. Then that's gonna be like the designated
Oh,
one.
that's right. That's
That's
right.
coming up this year too. So
Yeah, that'll be. I, I can, I'm just excited to see what they do with Thor, with
mm,
them, if he's going to be with them at this point. I don't know.
he's probably gonna get kicked off. He's gonna be like, "You're annoying. Get out of here."
I don't think he's going to get kicked off. I feel like no way they can kick him off. Thor is just too Thor.
Or
Thor's
maybe
gonna
he
leave.
gets too drunk to the point where it's like, "Get out of here.
Oh,
You're
you
not
don't
needed."
think Thor's like? I feel like Thor's gonna be rehabilitated
Well,
or
someone's gonna
rehabilitating
rehabilitate
himself.
him,
What?
and maybe he'll leave on his own.
I think he's gonna. I think he has to leave on his own. I think he's too strong-headed to get kicked out of the team. You know what I mean? Like, like him and Star Lord's little dynamic. Everyone loved Thor. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? When they
Yeah.
first saw him. So I feel like it's gonna be something like. Also, I wonder how Star Lord's gonna interact with them now because Star Lord's still like the macho fit one now, and Thor is
Hmm.
not. So now it's
Yeah.
like that would be interesting. I didn't think about that. I don't
Hmm.
know. I hope we see an epic training montage though. That's all I want. Just one
We
training
probably will.
montage. I hope we do.
So the next Disney Plus series that we're going to be watching for Marvel at least
Moon
is
Knight,
Moon
right?
Knight, which is coming out March 30th, 2022. Trailer's going to come out literally tomorrow as we are recording this podcast. So that's going to be fun.
It will be fun.
It looks really good so far.
It looks creepy but really good.
I feel like so the thing is like this, and then they're gonna do like a Werewolf by Night Halloween special, and they're gonna do Blade. These kinds of shows are more dark and more horror themed. Doctor Strange 2 is also gonna be more like a horror type of movie. And I know you're not really into that kind of stuff, Billy. So it's gonna be interesting how like your love of Marvel is gonna kind of be infected with like the
Gonna be
horror
tested.
supernatural genre.
I completely trust Marvel.
If you poop yourself, it's on them. It's not on you.
In Marvel, we trust. I will bring a diaper.
You should for every single episode.
That's the quote of this episode. That's the name of this episode. Billy brings the diaper.
And that's gonna be the first episode that we do about Moon Knight.
Yeah. I have to remember not to eat before this episode.
Watch it the early morning, like I do.
I feel like early in the morning it would be worse for me.
You're just groggy. You can't like focus.
Yeah,
All of a sudden it's like, oh my god.
yeah. I don't know. We'll find out.
We'll find out.
I look forward to it though.
But thank you so much for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the Hawkeye series as much as we did. Comment down below if you liked it. If you didn't like it, did you not like that end credit scene like I did? Because I feel like that's universal.
And if you did like it, let us know.
Yeah, are you in Billy's camp? Because why? Why are you in Billy's camp?
Let us know if you go see if you did like it. Let us know if you'd see the musical because I still wouldn't see it, but I didn't mind the post-credit scene.
Yeah. So hit the subscription button down below. The like button is also next to it, and hit the subscription to our Instagram in our description. And until next time, stay nerdy.
Stay nerdy.